All right, y'all. So I had to just come back on and drop a real quick one, because this is literally about what I was talking about, what I just made the video on, and my jaw dropped. Let's read it, okay? WA, Washington State, to consider detaining the unvaccinated indefinitely. When I saw this tweet, I was like, but I was like, I must be seeing things. I haven't seen words put together like that ever yet. Even though I know they want to do this type of stuff, I haven't seen them like start putting stuff like this together. Okay. So we know the Supreme Court doesn't recognize that current vaccines and masks don't reduce transmission. Do states? Many states, including Florida, have similar statutes, even allowing forced vaccination at a health official's discretion. So now I'm like, what is he talking about, yo? Like, okay, so this is Dr. James Hill, and I follow him on Twitter, and he has Substack. He has a Substack too. I follow him there, and he's always looking at the data, looking at all the new information, everything. He is a doctor, okay, who keeps it real. Okay, so then Washington detainment, Washington COVID detainment emergency on January 12th at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. The Washington State Board of Health will discuss applying current infectious disease WAC codes to include COVID-19 for all Washington State residents. See the listed below policies, allowing local health officers to use law enforcement to force an emergency order to involuntarily detain a person or group of persons, families, to be isolated in a quarantine facility. Following refusal to voluntarily comply with requests for medical examination, testing, treatment, counseling, vaccination. These specifics come from, they give you codes, including the COVID-19 injection as part of school immunization requirements, like literally everything I was talking about in the last video. So I said, not that I didn't trust this doctor, because of course he's not going to put, this man has, he has credibility, and he's not just going to put a bunch of stuff on his Twitter for likes. Okay. But I said, let me look these codes up. I started to look them up. Just a couple examples. And here it is. This is the Washington State legislator. And they're going to talk about, an order issued by local health officer in accordance with this chapter shall constitute the duly authorized application of lawful rules adopted by a state board of health, must be enforced by all police officers, sheriffs, constables, and all other officers and employees of any political subdivision within the jurisdiction of the health department in accordance. Any person who shall violate any other provisions of this chapter or any lawful rule adopted by the board shall be deemed guilty of misdemeanor punishable as provided under RCW. Any person who shall fail or refuse to obey any lawful order issued by any local health officer shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor punishable. All right, so they give you the codes that they'll be punishable by. And this is one of the codes. And then I'm going to read another one of the codes, and then because I had wrote them down. Let me see, 045. All right, so then you go to their legislation thing. The local health officer shall adhere to the following conditions and principles when isolating or quarantining a person. Okay, isolation or quarantine must be by least restrictive means necessary to prevent a spread of communicable or possibly communicable disease to others, and may include but are not limited to confinement to private homes or other public or private premises. Isolated individuals must be confined separately from quarantined individuals. The health status of isolated quarantined individuals must be monitored regularly to determine they require continued isolation or quarantine. If quarantined individual subsequently becomes infected or is reasonably believed to become infected with communicable or possibly communicable disease, the local health officer believes poses a significant threat to the health and safety of other quarantined individuals, he or she must be promptly placed in isolation. Isolated or quarantined individuals must be released as soon as practicable when the local health officer determines that they have been successfully decontaminated or that they pose no substantial risk of transmitting a communicable or possibly communicable disease that would constitute a serious or imminent threat to the health and safety of others. The needs of a person isolated or quarantined must be addressed to the greatest extent possible in systematic and competent fashion. Okay, they're telling you to bring your stuff. Premises used for isolation or quarantine must be maintained in a safe, hygienic manner. Jesus, this phone. To extent possible, cultural and religious beliefs should be considered addressing. Okay, all right, let's calm down. In addressing the needs of individuals and establishing and maintaining isolation or quarantine premises, isolation or quarantine shall not abridge the right of any person to rely on exclusively spiritual. Okay, so they're saying that the isolation shouldn't get in your spiritual or religious ways. And, we could go on and go on. First off, do they even care about spiritual or religious? Because a lot of places didn't give any exemptions for these things. They didn't give any exemptions for vaccine mandates. So, okay, let's see here. Has first made reasonable efforts, shall be documented to obtain compliance request. So like this here looks like they're talking about procedures for isolation or quarantine. They're gonna get your documentations. The local health the local health officer shall issue written emergency detention order as soon as reasonably possible in all cases within 12 hours of detention that specifically that shall specify the following. The identity of the person, and it goes on and on. I was like, it goes, mind you, this is communicable diseases, okay? So this is, HIV comes right into it, right? So this is the stuff that, everybody protested about back in the 80s and 90s. Well, here it is. Well, here it is, okay? And we allowed that to happen. All right, now hold on. Let me see. Let me just look up the last two. I don't want to make this a long video. I'm trying not to, y'all, because I'll be wanting y'all to watch the whole video because this stuff is like insane. Hold up, but some of this stuff is from like 2018. Okay, so this is just like when they go into definite. Okay, so this is like the whole thing altogether. Oh man, Jesus Christmas. I'm gonna open up a whole slew of. All right, well, some of this stuff has already been here. That's probably why since it's been up since 2018. I just want to see one last one. All right, bet. So basically, they want to add COVID-19 rules to their communicable diseases protocols, okay? But not just COVID-19, for like they could isolate you for anything because when I read it, it didn't even say, for COVID-19, for possible COVID-19. It's like possible communicable diseases. They will deem you a threat, especially if you are not vaccinated. Okay, they're coming for unvaccinated first. I'm not trying to sound excited. I'm not trying to sound like I'm scaring people. And I'm not telling people to run out and get a jab just because these people are trying to put this stuff on paper. I'm trying to make you aware that it is not hard for us to turn into Australia. It's not. I literally just made a video in full detail how this can happen. I go on my Twitter and then I look and Washington State is putting the stuff on paper. They passing these policies. They're going to have this long Zoom meeting and people can send in their comments. They can send in their comments, right? And then guess what? They're still going to pass them anyway. They're going to pass these laws anyway. And it's not me. You see it. I'm bringing it to you. That's why I said we are now in a state of you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. Okay? This is it's bananas. This is dangerous. It is. This is not how you take care of people. This isn't how you eradicate any type of pandemic. All right. Like I always say, please share this video. Share this video, guys. Share. Share it and be aware that this is coming to a state near you. It is. It is. So we'll see where they go with this. Hey, maybe they won't approve it, but I highly doubt that they won't. The Supreme Court is already talking about Sotomayor was on there, because they're doing their decisions on Biden's mandates, which they're going to let him have it. they're going to let them have it because the optics have shortened. It's all about optics. You see people in the hospital, excuse me, with PPE gear. They show you pictures of nurses with a bunch of IV stuff and everything, and yes, the hospitals are busy, but it is not all COVID. A lot of it is vaccine injury. And they show you all this. And then of course the judge is gonna be like, well, we need to do something to stop people from dying. We are not God, y'all. And this is not it either. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there to let y'all know that I was making a speculation of how we can take the words and do XYZ with it. And these people are already, they're 10 steps ahead with their plans. You guys, again, share this video. Please like, subscribe. Please definitely like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you feel. And I believe this is a message that I think everybody should know. Whether if you're okay with it, fine. Like, tell me why you're okay with it. If you think like, yeah, this is a good idea, okay, cool. Tell me why. You have a right to think that it's a cool idea. But people should know that this is an idea. This is a thing that's gonna happen. Okay. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.